Peter Green was an incredibly influential guitar player with bands like the John Mayall Blues Breakers, being a founding member of Fleetwood Mac. After his recent passing, I thought it would be a good time to have a look back at his influential playing and his career. Peter Green was born on October 29th, 1946 in Bethnal Green, London, England, and passed away July 25th, 2020. Though professionally known as Peter Green, he was born Peter Allen Greenbaum. He was the youngest of 4 children and was taught his first chords on the guitar by his older brother Michael. Later on, Peter began teaching himself, and at this time, Peter's guitar hero was Hank Marvin of The Shadows. Peter's first professional gig was playing bass for Bobby Dennis and the Dominoes, which played popular covers of the day. After this, Peter joined the Muskrats, which were a rhythm and blues band. He then joined the Tridents, where he played bass. Peter then started playing lead guitar in Peter Barden's band, Peter B's Lunars. That is quite the name of a band. It was in this band that Peter met drummer Mick Fleetwood. With some members of Peter B's Lunars, they formed a band called Shotgun Express. A much better name. This band actually had Rod Stewart on vocals. Peter only stayed with this outfit for a short time, though. In 1965, Peter Green had a brief 4-gig stint in John Mayall's Blues Breakers, filling in for Eric Clapton. Later, Clapton left the Blues Breakers, and Peter became a full-time member. The Blues Breakers' 1966 album, A Hard Road, was Peter's recording debut for the band. There were 2 songs on this album written by Peter, The Same Way and The Supernatural. The Supernatural was an instrumental and remained a fan favorite. It was around this time that Peter earned the nickname The Green God, probably in reference to Eric Clapton's God moniker. After the success of A Hard Road, Peter decided to form his own blues band. The name first settled on was Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac, featuring Jeremy Spencer. This was of course later shortened to just Fleetwood Mac, even though John McVie had not yet decided to join the band. Bob Bruning filled in temporarily until John McVie finally gave in and joined the band. Interesting side note, Mick Fleetwood and John McVie are probably the longest lasting rhythm section in rock and roll. I can't think of any other that's been around longer anyway. Their first album was a mix of blues covers and originals by Peter Green and Jeremy Spencer. This album peaked at number 4 on the UK charts and stayed on the charts for 37 weeks. This album contains excellent blues playing from Peter, as well as some great slide playing by Jeremy Spencer. This was an incredibly prolific period for Peter, releasing a number of albums with Fleetwood Mac and writing some classic songs, such as Albatross, Black Magic Woman, which Santana had some success with as well, Oh Well, The Green Manalishi, and Man of the World. Peter Green's mental decline seemed to coincide with a party he attended while on tour in Europe, taking LSD at a commune in Munich. Green left Fleetwood Mac after a final performance on the 20th of May 1970. After Fleetwood Mac, Green appeared on a number of projects and even briefly rejoined Fleetwood Mac after Jeremy Spencer left the group under the pseudonym Peter Blue. In 1973, Green's mental illness and drug use ceased his creative output. Diagnosed with schizophrenia, Peter spent time in psychiatric hospitals undergoing electroconvulsive therapy during the mid-1970s. With the help of his brother, Michael, he began to re-emerge professionally and released a number of solo albums. In the 1980s, the Gibson Guitar Company tried to persuade Peter to release a Peter Green signature Les Paul, but he declined because of his preference for the Gibson Howard Roberts Fusion guitar at the time. In the late 90s, Green formed the Peter Green Splinter Group and released a number of albums. Peter Green played a number of guitars in his playing career, such as a Harmony Meteor, which was his first guitar, Fender Stratocasters and Telecasters, Gibson Howard Roberts Fusion model, and the Gibson ES-165. But he's best known for his 1959 Gibson Les Paul Standard. He would sell this guitar to Gary Moore for whatever he could get for his Gibson SG. Kirk Hammett of Metallica would later buy this guitar from a collector for a reputed $2 million, but as later stated, it was only under $1 million. Peter Green's playing has been praised by some of the world's most legendary guitarists, such as Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, and B.B. King, and has influenced many such as Mark Knopfler, Slash, Joe Bonamassa, Noel Gallagher, and many others. Though gone, his music will live on for years to come. Thanks for watching.